Hey there, Synthrones. Today I have a question for you. When it comes to synthesizers, presets or no? Hi, I'm Pure Ambient Drone, and this is my channel where I vlog about synthesizers. This is the channel of human synthesis. I ask the questions and state the statements that nobody else is talking about, or at least to the degree and the way that I talk about them. So hit the subscribe button, tap the bell, and join me for all of my synth adventures if you haven't already done so. Also check out pureambientdrone.com for all of my connections across the internet where I'm involved in synthesizers. Okay, well, listen to this. A while back, I did a video about Behringer needing to add presets to their synthesizers. And I had a very good argument about them doing that for some of their upcoming clones like the ARP. They chose not to do that apparently, and that's okay. And let me tell you why I think that's okay, and I've been changing my mind. Because, you know, I'm evolving as a musician, and I'm evolving as a person. Now, if you would have asked me this question even a year ago, I would have been telling you absolutely need presets. But I have been thinking about some things since I got my hands on my Juno 6 and my Mono Poly from Korg. And what I have to tell you is that neither of them have presets that you can store. And I have been making some tracks using them, and I have found that it is very difficult to recall the tonality when I have made a track and then go back to the synth. It's just almost impossible unless you snap a picture, write some things down, and then even that's tedious if you want to go back and do it. It is possible, and that is a great way, you know, snapping pictures of where you have everything, and then of course labeling all that. It's a lot of work. I don't play anything live though. So for me in the studio, presets are not exactly a necessity. So, you know, there's a balance that I'm thinking about all of this. I have plenty of synthesizers that start out with presets. And sometimes, most of the time, I don't like the preset anyway, but it's a great starting point to start tweaking and working and then getting the sound that I'm looking for. And then the capability of being able to save that changed preset. But on the other hand, there is something that's liberating, and I experienced it in full yesterday. I came in here and the studio, I was very relaxed, and I was just really just thinking, you know what, I'm just going to play something on the synthesizers. And I started tweaking on the Mono Poly and started messing around on the Juno 6. And I came up with some pretty neat stuff that I probably wouldn't have came up with if I even had a starting point, because it was challenging my creativity. And at that time, I was ready to engage that creativity and take it on. Other days I come in here, I'm really lazy. Okay, I'm a lazy musician, and 99% of the time, I don't like to do tedious things when it comes to music. I like to just let it flow and just have the creativity come out and not have to worry about a whole lot of other nitpicking things. I'm sorry, I'm being honest with you guys. I'm lazy when it comes to synthesis. So again, yesterday, I'm tweaking this stuff around, and I'm like, you know, this almost feels like playing the instrument in itself. When you got a sequencer running through the Korg Mono Poly, and you're tweaking the knobs in real time, and you're recording all of this stuff, it becomes organic, it becomes alive. So I can see a person restricting themselves by not having the capability of presets. Now, I know the argument to this is, why not have presets and choose not to use them? That's great, but you know, with temptation, there's always possibility to fall. And what I mean by that is that when I tried the same technique on synthesizers that do have the capability of storing presets, I always find myself quickly over-challenged because I'm lazy when it comes to synthesizers. And so I always just kind of give up and start playing around with the presets. And I'm right back where I started from. But synthesizers like the Korg Mono Poly and the Juno 6, they're forcing me to continue on. Now, one could also argue, you understand I like to argue with myself when I come up with these questions, that I could always abandon the Korg Mono Poly along with the Juno 6 and run off to one of my synthesizers over here that do have presets. And that's also a possibility, and I have done that too. But yesterday I was determined to force myself to really get into the Korg Mono Poly, which is something I have not had time to do in the past since I've gotten it. And I got to tell you, it's liberating. It's liberating. I'm excited about it. There's something about the Korg Mono Poly, just as a side note, that has such a character to it that I have not found in any other synthesizer out there. And that could be said about a lot of vintage synthesizers. It could be said about some of the newer stuff coming out. I personally think that the Korg Mono Poly is great just the way it is, and that if someone was to clone it and put presets in it, that would be cool, that would be okay, but I think a lot of people would be missing out exploring the capabilities of what this machine is capable of doing if we just are forced into learning it, especially for those who only have that as their one synth. And I have a funny suspicion, now I don't have any basis on this, but we're talking about vintage gear, we're talking about presets and what companies should do when it comes to adding to these new clones that they're coming out with. I have a funny suspicion that Korg will answer Behringer's challenge and will go back and start cloning some of their older vintage rare synthesizers that we're looking to get. And I think they might even go back and get the Poly 6. Who knows? Which, by the way, does have presets. They might even touch on the Korg Mono Poly. Who knows? Korg is pretty good at delivering some really good analog stuff. So my question to you is, do you prefer presets all the time, some of the time, or never? Leave your comments below. Let's talk about this in a civil manner. And until next time, join me over at pureambientdrone.com and keep calm and synth on.